Fantastic. So, a warm welcome to everybody here this morning. Lovely to be here with you all. I'm going to give you the option to start this morning's practice however you would like to start it. If you want to sit, you can sit. If you'd like to lie, you can lie. But I want you to be in a place that feels comfortable for about 10 minutes or so. So whether you are choosing to sit or lie, make sure that you have some support to help you. So if you want to sit upon something, if you want to lie and put things underneath the back of the head or under the legs, please do. Make sure you are temperature appropriate for the room that you're in as well. So if you want to put a layer over you, please do. If you're feeling warm, please feel free to do what you need to do to allow yourself to feel a temperature where you can relax. And depending if you're lying or you're sitting, just finding a place where your arms and your hands feel comfortable. That might be resting by the side of the body. That might be resting on the body. If there's any gesture or mudra that you like to make with your hands, maybe something that is known to you or something that feels familiar to you, you might want to do that. And just giving ourselves just a few moments just to settle into the space that we're within. Maybe if you find it useful, familiarizing yourself with the space that you're in at this time. Acknowledging the fact that we've got ourselves here. Of all of the things that we might have been affected by or experienced this morning so far, you can leave all of those things maybe outside the door or in a little corner of the room. Noting that we are here as individuals with our own reasons and experiences and wants, desires and needs. But also we're here as a collective as well. Turning your attention to the body that you've arrived in and noticing how that body may be at this time. Noting what you can feel, what you can sense, what information may be useful for you to be aware of about your body. The known things, but also the possibility of the things that we don't know about ourselves that may arise. Acknowledging this body that is unique and individual to each of us. Taking some time to be aware of how we are energetically. Maybe the changing of the clocks last weekend has affected how you've been feeling energetically this week. Maybe it's giving you energy having a little bit more light in the mornings. Maybe there's this kind of wanting or need to kind of give into that feeling of hibernation that comes with this time of year. Maybe it's made you feel quite balanced. You're just noticing the energy within you and around you. How is it? How does it feel? Turning your attentions now to the mind. And just notice how your mind is, how it's functioning at this time. The mind might be busy. It might be quiet. The mind might be caught up in things that relate to the past. Or it might be thinking about things that are maybe to come in the future. Maybe today the mind is present. And then acknowledging to yourself any mood or emotional states that you might need to be aware of. And I'd like you to draw your attention to your breath and allow yourself to just observe the breath in this moment. So without the need to want to change or force the breath in any way, to do anything clever or special with it. Just notice how the breath is as it comes in and as it goes out. Noticing if you have a tendency to breathe through the nose or through the mouth, or maybe a combination. Noticing if your breath feels long or short, if it feels fast or slow. Maybe there's a depth or a shallowness. And I'd invite you to allow yourself to be aware of what your intentions or reasons may be behind this practice today. Your wishes, your prayers, your desires. From a logical perspective, why have you come to this practice today? But also allowing ourselves to create a space within ourselves, maybe within your heart, maybe in your mind, maybe somewhere else within you. And that space is for those possibilities, those things that we maybe haven't considered, or those things that sometimes arise when we change how we're feeling. And being open to all of those possibilities, whatever they may be. This practice of showing care, kindness, love towards ourselves. What may arise from that time that we have together. So when you feel ready, noting all of that information, storing that all away wherever you need to store it. Because everything we've experienced up until this moment so far is going to influence what we do as we move forwards. So allowing ourselves to gently begin to maybe deepen the breath, maybe allowing a little bit of movement into your fingers, into your toes. You might find yourself just naturally stretching, yawning, wiggling, sighing, do whatever feels good to you, whatever feels right. So once you kind of have allowed yourself to just be a little bit more aware of your surroundings, and you might want to open your eyes. For those that are lying, I'm going to suggest roll to one side and come up to a seat. In a moment, we are all going to come up into a standing position, but rather than just going straight from lying to standing, just have a little bit of time to get there. So what I'd like you to do is maybe free your mat of anything that you might be able to fall over. So just pushing any blankets or cushions or anything out of the way. If you're at home or in the studio as well, just make sure you've got a bit of arm space around you. So if you're near a wall or you're too near a person, just maybe take a little step to the side, or at certain points you can even step off your mat. We haven't got to kind of stay fixed to being on a mat. So I want you to just take a moment or two just to kind of have a little shake through the body. And if you have a little shake of the arms, have a little shake of the legs, have a little shake through the hip, just kind of shaking off. I need to do this because I had a slight altercation with someone about a parking space. So I just need to shake that off. It's still in my brain, still in my body. I'm just going to let him go. I did. And then come and stand, feet flat on the floor, just letting the arms just hang by your side. And take a big breath in right to the depths of the lungs, and a big breath out. Do that again. Big breath in, and a big breath out. One more time if that feels okay. And what I'd like you to do is just start to swing your arms back and forth. So just a really simple swim back and forth. Putting the least amount of effort in. Just letting those arms just rock back and forth. And by doing this, it will just help to slightly start to soften the area and the tissue around the shoulders, around the armpits. Then we're going to add a little bit of extra thing in here. So every other swing, you're going to bring your hands into a fist, do a little kind of fist bump back, and then release the arms and let them swing for once. So we're just kind of alternating. So this will help with movement and connective tissue around the hands, around the wrists. You might want to make a tight fist, or you might make quite a gentle fist. So just a couple more of these. And then we're going to change the direction. So this is where we need to be a little bit careful of being going out to the side. So we're just going to swing the arms out to the side, but you're just going to alternatively cross each wrist. So you might start to get a little bit of momentum and maybe get a little bit higher, slow down, speed up, do whatever feels good for you. So just a couple more of these. So it's really useful joint mobility exercise that will prepare us ready to move into some of those slightly deeper or bigger stretches towards the end of our practice. So just let the arms just kind of slow down, find a stop. Notice you'll probably feel like there's a bit of momentum still happening through the upper body. And then we're going to interlace the hands together. We're going to do this with our breath. So we're going to inhale as you reach the hands up towards the sky. If you can't take them overhead, just bring them out in front of you. And as you exhale, flow the arms all the way back down. So we're going to inhale, interlace, palms push away, reach up, maybe look up to the ceiling, see how that feels. Exhale, stretch away. They're going to do that about 8 more times. So this movement, really, really useful thing to help to kind of shift a little bit of lethargy. Sometimes when we're feeling a bit tired this time of year, particularly, we can feel a little bit kind of sticky and stuck, can't we? Do 3 more of those. One more time. Fantastic. So from our standing position, I want you to just take your feet a little bit wider and then maybe just do a slight outward rotation of your feet. Just so your feet are sort of pointing towards the corners of your mat. Then we're going to have a slight bend of our knees and we're going to start to just move our body around in a circular way. Now, for some people, this can be a little bit kind of disorientating or make you feel a bit dizzy. So if that's the case, just keep looking ahead, look at something in front of you and just move your body. However, for some of you, you might find, I'm just going to step away from the wall slightly, is that you can move the head and the body around. So if you start to feel dizzy, just come back to looking ahead or even stop. So some of you will find you're moving quite gently, quite slowly. Some of you might find that you really kind of want to let the hands kind of have a little slap around the body. Now, the last little thing that we can add into this, and we just need to be a little bit careful of doing this, is as we start to rotate, you lift the opposite heel up. So as you do that, you will end up twisting around a little bit more. So again, you can do it by continuing to look ahead, or if you want to let that head follow the direction of the body, then please do. So this is twisting through the whole of the body, from the toes all the way up to the crown. So we're pretty much having to use every part of ourselves to do this movement. Actually, if you've got a very short time to do a yoga practice, this is the best thing to do. I do this a lot in the winter because I just kind of feel like my circulation needs a little bit of a boost. So I get out of bed and go in the other room and do this for a few minutes. And most people tend to avoid you while you're doing this. You can't really converse and do this at the same time. You definitely can't do any other stuff that they want you to do while you're doing this. My dogs just look at me like I've lost the plot. No, just slowly start to just let that momentum just kind of find its own conclusion. Doesn't matter where your feet are, but I want you to just stand tall for a moment and just notice how you might sense a little bit of energy, warmth, busyness in the body. You might be breathing a little bit differently. You might feel the floor a little bit more. You might feel a little bit dizzy. You might need to sit down for a minute, which is okay. You know, we all experience this thing in very, very different ways, but just a nice way to just kind of increase that energy a little bit. So we're going to come and bring our feet together now. So big toes are going to touch, heels are going to touch. I want you to bring your hands onto your hips, okay? So first of all, what we're going to do is just walk slowly on the spot. So you're going to lift one knee up as high as you can lift it, and then place it back down. And do the other. Step as high as you can and place it back down. So see if we can inhale to lift, exhale to place down. Inhale to lift, exhale to place down. If you're wobbling around, you can do this standing against the wall. So what's starting to happen is when we take our weight into the opposite leg, it's really helping with building the bone and muscle density through that leg that we're keeping on the floor. To the other leg, we're working through the front of the thigh, into the glutes, the hip flexor. Okay, do one more on each side. Fantastic. So bring the feet back. Keep your hands on your hips. Okay, we're going to shift our weight into our left leg, and I want you to pick up your right foot, okay? It hasn't got to be very high. Again, if you need to hold on to something, you could put a wall or a chair or put yourself near that. And then circle your right ankle around. So cue lots of clunks and clicks from my ankle particularly. Just kind of circling that around, getting the energy flowing through that right ankle. Then we're going to go in the other way. See if you can breathe slowly while you're doing this. Also, this is a balance, so look ahead rather than looking down. Even if you've got a window to look out of or something to look at, do. Brilliant. So that left leg's probably feeling a bit tired now. So we're going to come on to the right foot now. We're going to do exactly the same by lifting the left leg up, circling that ankle around. So again, if you find it a challenge, use the wall or lean against the wall. Brilliant. Circle the other way. Slow the breath if you're able to. Fantastic. Bring that left foot back onto the floor. Okay, we're going to shift the weight back into the left leg. We're going to pick up our right knee this time. And I want you to imagine that you're drawing a circle with your right knee. This always sends me a bit wobbly. So imagine if you've got a pencil sticking out of your right knee, you're drawing a circle around with it. Okay, go the other way. Notice how that left leg might feel quite tired now. Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? It's not easy at all. Not easy at all. Brilliant. Come down, swap straight to the other side. So we just draw in a circle with our left knee. So these joint and mobility exercises are really fantastic things to do. So if our joints and our mobility is compromised in some way, then it affects our strength and our flexibility. So actually, we need to kind of look at our bodies as a whole rather than just focusing sometimes on specific bits of ourselves. Let's go the other way. Yeah, it's really, yeah, the one side compared to the other is, yeah, really, really different. Okay, so let's just take a moment. I don't know if you are feeling, but I feel a little bit fatigued from that, quite a lot. So we're going to do one more, but it's a little bit more active, okay? So what we're going to do is pick up our right leg. We're going to step it all the way out. So we're doing an outward rotation, and then we're going to step it all the way back in. And then we're going to swap to the other side. So we're going to step all the way out, and then all the way back in. So all the way up and out, all the way back in. And once you've got the rhythm, you can do it with the breath. So you inhale to step out, exhale to step back. Inhale to step out, exhale. So obviously if you, again, are struggling, You can use a wall or a chair or something just to give you a little bit more support. Vicky was saying about your glute and hip flexor. This is a brilliant thing to do. Yeah, brilliant thing to do. Okay. So, fantastic. I want you to now turn, so you're facing, same as me, long ways along your mat. Come and stand right in the middle of your mat as well. And then you're going to step your feet wide out to the sides. And it doesn't matter what foot you turn, but just turn one foot that's facing towards the thin edge of our mats. That's it. Bring the hands onto the hips to begin. We're going to bend our front knee, the one that of the toes that we turn, and send the knee in the direction of the toes. And then we're going to push ourselves back up. So we're going to inhale as we sink into warrior two. Exhale as we push back. So inhale and exhale. So this is using some of the major muscle groups of the body, the glutes, the quads. This outward rotation of the hips as well is a really useful thing to do to help build some strength through the hip joints, through the knee joints, the ankle joints. If you want to make it a little bit more challenging for yourself, take the arms out in warrior two. This adds a little bit more weight. However, if you're feeling fatigued or tired today, bring the hands back onto the hips. Okay, we're going to come into warrior two. We're just going to pause there. Stay here for about 3 to 5 breaths. Fantastic. When you're ready, bring the hands back onto the hips, straighten the leg that you've been bending, and then let's go straight to the opposite side. So again, start off with hands on hips just to get used to the movement. We inhale as we bend the front knee. Exhale as we push back out. So inhale as we sink. Exhale as we push back. Again, if you want to take the arms up, you can. Adding that little bit more weight and resistance for the lower body to work into. This is also really useful to help with that knee joint that we're moving in and out of. So we're loading up and then we're taking the pressure off. Okay, so let's move into our warrior two. Yeah, let's just stay here 3 to 5 breaths. Fantastic. So when you feel ready, hands come onto your hips. Push yourself all the way back up. Let's turn our toes so they're facing towards the long edge of our mat and heel and toe your feet in. This time, I'm going to suggest bringing your feet hip distance or narrower, whatever feels comfortable for you to stand in an upright position, but you don't want your feet too wide. We're going to do some roll downs from here. So what I'd like you to do is start off just with your hands by the sides of the body. We're going to start off with our chin and we're going to drop our chin towards our chest. And then we're going to let our shoulders start to roll forward. At this point, you might want to bend your knees a little bit and start to roll yourself down into a standing forward fold. So in that standing forward fold, you might want to rest your hands on your ankles, your feet, under your toes, on your shins, on your knees. Think about directing the breath into the back side of your body. And then when you feel ready, bend the knees and slowly start to roll yourself all the way back up to our standing position. Let's take an inhale at the top, draw the shoulders down, reach the crown of the head up. Exhale, drop the chin, draw the shoulders forwards and roll yourself forwards again. Coming into that standing forward fold. Maybe have a little sway from side to side here. So you're bending one leg, straightening the other leg a little bit. So you're just sort of pushing that weight from one side to the other of the body. Fantastic. Come back to center. Relax your head completely. And let's roll ourselves all the way back up to our standing position. As we come up, this time as we inhale, we're going to reach our arms overhead. So you're going to look up towards the sky, maybe bring the hands together above you. And as we exhale, we're going to fold over our legs. So you're going to stretch the arms wide, bend our knees, bring our hands to our shins, ankles, to our feet. As we inhale, we're going to look up, slide our hands up our shins, look ahead. Exhale, fold back over the legs by letting your head get really heavy here. Inhale, draw the arms wide, come all the way back up to stand. Push the hips slightly forwards, bring the hands together. And as we exhale, let's bring the hands to our heart center. So let's inhale again, draw the arms up, reach up to the sky. Exhale, separate the arms and fold over those legs. Hands on shins, ankles, feet. Inhale as you look up, slip the hands up the shins, look ahead. Exhale, fold back over the legs. Inhale, come all the way back up to stand, reach up to the sky. Exhale, bring the hands together. Last time. Inhale to reach, look up, push those hips slightly forward. Exhale, fold over those legs. Inhale as we look up. Exhale, fold back over the legs. And I want you to pause here. Slightly bend your knees, let your head get really heavy. Let's have a little kind of just gentle shake of our head from side to side. Have a little shake of our shoulders. Have a little shake of our bottoms. Fantastic. So from here, I want you to just gently roll up, but I want you to really take your time. So we're taking as long as we can to come up. Rolling up in a really, really, really slow way. All the way up. Back to our start position. Again, if you feel dizzy, look ahead. If you still feel dizzy, drop the chin down, a couple of deep breaths into the upper part of the chest. So what I'd like you to do from here is now turn yourself so you're going to face towards the front of your mat, the thin edge of your mat. We're going to draw our hands out in front of ourselves. So I want you to look between your hands. Have the hands just kind of below the shoulders. Draw the shoulders back slightly. So you're almost sort of squeezing those shoulder blades together and then push the hands slightly together. So imagine you're holding a box just in front of your chest. We're then going to bend our knees and see if we can drop our bottom down behind the back of our knee. So as you're doing that, your legs will be away from each other. I want you to squeeze them together, but without letting them touch. So again, imagine there's a box between your thighs and you're squeezing that and you're squeezing the hands together. And we're going to drop a little bit lower if we can do. Now, option here could be if you're feeling tired, bring your hands onto your hips. If you're feeling okay, lift the hands and the box up towards the sky. Look up towards it as well. Keep squeezing the box in your hands. Keep squeezing the box between your thighs. Remember to breathe. Have a little smile on your face. One more breath in. As we exhale, let's release ourselves out. Very well done. Give everything a little shake. Shake off all that tension again. Okay, we are going to come into a 4-point kneeling position. So if you need to put a padding or double up your mat, give yourself a little bit of extra support for your wrists or knees, please do that. So we're going to move into a sequence which will be quite common to most of us, Chakradvanasana. So we're going to start off in this flat position, and then we're going to round our backs, and we're going to send our bottom back in the direction of our heels. As we inhale, we're going to float ourselves back up to our 4-point kneeling. So again, as we exhale, we're going to round the back, think about drawing the navel lightly to the back of the body and sink back down to the heels. So I want you to just do that a couple more times. Just moving in and out of this Chakravanasana sequence. Feeling what that is like in the back of the body, the front of the body, how it feels through the shoulders and the side body. And then what we're going to do is start to change the direction that we're moving back to. So the next time you round your back, I want you to head off towards the left far corner of your mat. So as though you're heading towards your left heel. As we inhale, we're going to come all the way back up to the center. And as we exhale, we're rounding the back and we're going to send the bottom off towards the right heel. So by doing this, we're starting to work into the side of the body, into those lateral muscles, into that side of the abdominal girdle that can get quite tight for quite a lot of us. So we're just heading back in that diagonal way. Just exploring how that feels around that hip joint as we send our bottom back. So what's actually happening is when we're heading back in that direction, the hip of that side is just doing a slightly inward rotation. So before we were doing an outward rotation, when we were doing that warrior position, and when we were stepping our feet out to the side. So this is an inward rotation of our hip joints. So the next time you come back onto your heels, I want you to come back in the regular way. And then I'd like you to walk your hands off towards the left-hand side of your mat. Now, what some of you might find is your head just naturally comes to the floor. Some of you might want to cross a forearm or bring a hand onto a forearm and utilize that as a kind of support for your head. You might also want to put a blanket or a cushion or something under your head and keep both of the arms free. So the idea is really we don't want that head sort of hanging off of the floor. We want it to touch something. So by doing this, you'll feel a slight sense of kind of stretch through that right-hand side of the body. If you want to edge a little bit further over, you could do. If you feel actually you're more inclined to want to go back towards the midline, I would suggest that's also a great option. Or staying where you are is also a really great option as well. There's so often we're kind of almost programmed, aren't we, to kind of need to do more and how it feels just to be like, okay, I feel happy here, so I can stay. So when you feel ready, we're going to walk ourselves back to our center point. Let's just come out of this position. So we're going to push ourselves up, back into our 4-point kneeling. Bring the hands forwards and let's just lie ourselves down onto our front. Flip your forearms ahead of you. And let's just have a little sort of wiggle through the hips. Just kind of imagine you're sort of waggling your towel behind you. If this feels too intense on the lower back, forehead can be on the floor or on your forearms. And then what I'd like you to do is just bend your left leg and bring your left heel as close towards your left glute as you can do. And then swap over. So you're going to bring that left foot or left leg down, bend the right knee, and bring that right heel as close to that right glute as you can do. And then come down. Fantastic. Bring your hands back either sides of your chest. Let's push ourselves up and all the way back onto our heels. Pausing here just for a moment where we've been in a back bend. You may well find that this feels quite a relief, quite a nice thing to do. And then we're going to walk ourselves off towards our right-hand side. So again, you might want to use the floor of the support. You might want to cross the forearm and bring the forehead onto the forearm. You might want to put some cushion, blankets, block, bolster underneath the head. So again, we're just maybe focusing our attentions and our awareness on that left-hand side of the body. Just feeling into that left side of the rib cage. And where we were doing all that sort of circling around action right at the start of our practice, this hopefully would have warmed up that area a little bit and kind of just allowed it to feel maybe a little bit softer. Fantastic. So we're going to walk ourselves back to our center point. We're going to push ourselves up to our 4-point kneeling. I want you to just take a moment here. If you want to do a little bit of maybe cat and cow moving, maybe you want to do a few sort of circles around, maybe actually you need to stretch your legs out. So you might want to push one heel back behind you on the other heel. We're going to come into a upper back bend. So we're going to come into this position, which is called puppy dog pose. So you're going to walk your hands forward. As you walk your hands forwards, then try not to take the bottom back towards the heels. Instead, what you're going to do is drop your chin, your chest, and your forehead in the direction of the mat. Now, again, if you find yourself sort of struggling, particularly if this creates any tension through the shoulders or the upper back region, you might want to put a bolster underneath you so you can rest your chin, chest, and forehead upon that bolster. So essentially, you're sort of bringing the floor up to you. Now, you'll find it difficult. Where are you finding it difficult, Victor? So where can you feel it? It looks right from the shape, but where do you feel it? Okay, so I would suggest, yeah, absolutely. And you should actually feel it across between the shoulder blades and around the sort of front chest area. Okay. Yeah, it hurts the shoulders. Yeah. So sometimes if you put the bolster in front of you, you'll find actually it takes the pressure off of the shoulder. So if you put the bolster here, you might find you can rest upon it. Yeah, if you've got, because you've got injury. Yeah. Emma, can I just borrow your bolster for a sec? Sorry, I didn't grab one. So essentially what you can do is utilize the bolster like the floor. And you should feel a sense of like stretch around the sort of chest area, shoulder blade area. There's another way of doing it as well. For some people, they need to support the chest, but let the head just sort of hang forwards. Yeah. You could just just kind of take the pressure off. That's it. Yeah. So you've probably all been in this far too long now. So when you feel ready, let's all come out. Well done. We are going to swing our legs around and take them out in front of ourselves now. I'm just going to turn to the front so it's a bit easier to see. So we're going to take our legs as wide as feels comfortable for us. I'm going to also suggest what you might want to do is take a block or something to sit on, just to kind of pop it under your bottom so you've got a little bit of additional support there. There's a spare one here if anyone wants. So once we took our legs into this wide position, if you need to pop something underneath the back of your knees, I'm going to suggest do that. So you might want to put a couple of rolled up blankets, or you can put a bolster underneath your legs. Once you're in this upright position, I want you to push your heels away from you, draw your toes towards you, And then what we're going to do is just start to walk forwards. So you're just gently going to lean forwards. So again, if you've got the bolster in front of you, you could bring your hands onto it and rest upon it. As you start to lean forwards a little bit more, just see how it feels to let the back just naturally go where it wants to go. You might want to start to sort of roll your back a little bit more. So you sort of let the chin and the chest, a little bit like that roll down that we were doing. You could go into more of that sort of shape. But some of you might actually find it feels better to be kind of a little bit more in a sort of right angle position or a straight position with your back. So what we're sort of contesting with here is the hamstrings and the abductor muscles can get very tight. So this sort of area around here, but also our lower backs can be quite tight as well. So we need to make those little allowances of maybe bending the knees a little bit. So when you're ready, what I'd like you to do is head off towards your right leg. So you're just going to start to walk around towards your right leg. As you walk around towards that right leg, bring your hands either onto the leg or onto the foot or the ankle. Then we're going to head back to the center. Once at the center, just take a breath there. And then let's head off towards the left side. You're just heading off towards that left leg. Again, you might want to hold the left leg, the left toes. Brilliant. And then we're going to walk our way all the way back to our center. As we come back to the center, we're going to push ourselves back up. As you come up, I want you to bend your knees and slide your feet towards you. I'm just going to turn so it's a little bit easier for most people to see. So now bring your hands back behind you. Fingertips could be facing towards your bottom, could be facing out to the side, could be turned back. I want you to lean into your hands and lift your chest and your eyes and look up towards the sky. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Now, if you wanted to here, you could push your feet into the floor, push your hands into the floor and lift your bottom. So we're coming into a reverse tabletop position, which seems so easy, but it's really challenging. Lift the hips a little bit higher. Remember, we were squeezing those thighs together. So imagine you've got that block between your thighs. Just lift up a little bit higher if you can do. And then lower the bottom back to the floor, back to our blocks. Fantastic. We're going to sit ourselves into an upright position. As you come into your upright position, take your left leg, stretch it away from you. We're going to bring our right leg, bring it up towards ourselves. So we're holding that right shin and drawing that right leg as close as we can up towards our bodies that feels comfortable. And then we're going to step our right foot over our left. We're going to take our left arm, we're going to wrap it around our right leg and hold that right leg and squeeze it in towards the body. And then we're going to extend our right hand up to the ceiling. As you do that, think about lifting up and reach up as high as you can. And then drop the right hand back behind you and turn your gaze looking over towards your right shoulder. Now, if you wanted to just take this a little stage further, if you took your left elbow over your right knee, and then you extend your hand or arm up towards the ceiling. And by doing that, it just kind of adds a little bit of an extra dimension to that twist. So when you're ready, we're going to turn our heads only and look all the way over our left shoulder. Look as far as you can over that left shoulder. Look into the far left corners of your eyes. Brilliant. Bring the eyes back to the center. Twist the body back to the center. Let's unrelease our right leg, stretch it out along the floor. Bring our left leg up towards ourselves. Hug that left leg as close as you can towards your body. Step your left foot over your right thigh. Again, you might need to just sit up a bit taller there. Your right arm this time is going to come around your left leg and you're going to squeeze that left leg in towards yourself. And as you do that, project your left arm up towards the ceiling. Take another in-breath, get even longer, taller through the body. And then let's windmill that left hand all the way back behind us and look over our left shoulder. So we're looking over our back shoulder. Just look into the far left corners of our eyes again. If you wanted to, you could hook your right elbow over the left knee and project that right set of fingers up towards the ceiling. Again, this is an inward rotation of our hip joint. This should work. We're starting to release some tension around that left glute and that left piriformis muscle. And then keep the body exactly how it is, but just turn your head and look over your front shoulder. So look over your right shoulder and then look into the far right corners of your eyes. So you're looking as far as you can around towards that right-hand side. Think about keep relaxing through the shoulders as you're doing that. Fantastic. Come all the way back to our center point. As you come back to your center point, I want you to just come into a seat that feels comfortable for you. So you could sit cross-legged, you could sit kneeling, you could sit with your legs stretched, you might want to sit in a chair. You might even find here, if you want to just put on socks and jumpers ready for relaxation, we're going to do a breathing practice and then go into relaxation. So if you do want to get yourselves ready, then please do. We're going to go back to a breathing practice we haven't done for ages called Bhramari breath or the bee breath. And we're going to actually also do the Bhramari mudra as well. So the Bhramari mudra is quite cute. The word Bhramari means bee. So I want you to bring your first finger and kind of turn it into a tiny little sort of bending the fingers, and then you're going to turn it all the way in. So you're rolling that first finger all the way in. I'll just show those online as well. You can see that. So you're just kind of rolling the finger in and then rolling it all the way in. So you've got a tiny little sort of OK sign. Now it's supposed to be that represents the bee, that Bhramari mudra. So I'm going to suggest palms up. So you just rest in the back of the hands. If it starts to feel a bit tight, of course, you can loosen that grip a little bit, or you can just touch your thumb and first fingertips together. But try and stay in that Bhramari mudra if you can. And then we're going to adopt the Bhramari breath as well. So it's an audible exhalation made with a slight humming noise, a little bit like the sound of a bee. So it's up to you whether you want to be loud, if you want to be quiet. You want to make this sound almost kind of internally rather than it being projected out. So we're going to breathe in through the nose. And as you breathe out, just make it sound like a bee at the back of the throat. Once you get to the end of your exhale, making that buzzing noise, you just breathe in through the nose again. So we haven't all got to stay in time. If your breath is different to those around you, just kind of let yourself just go where you want to go with this breath. We're going to do it for about a minute, a little bit longer. So the first finger is said to represent the earth. So it's this idea of kind of we're really connecting with the earth, with our groundedness. But this sound, the Brahmari sound, is also said to be a really stabilizing and grounding sound for ourselves. It might be that you really feel into the vibration that you're making at the back of the throat. And those low, deep vibrations can be really settling for our nervous system. Even if we wasn't making the sound ourselves, but we were just listening to others making that sound, it can really help to settle and ground it. Let's just do one more round of that Brahmari breath. Then releasing your hands out of that mudra and just rest one on top of the other in your lap. Just taking some time to maybe acknowledge how the mudra, the breathing practice, the vibration may have affected your energetic systems, may have affected the mind. Noting what your response is. And when you feel ready, I'd like you to just allow yourself to transition into a position that you can rest in. So again, making sure your temperature appropriate. If you prefer to sit, to lie, then please do that. If you'd like to lie on your side, if you're at home and you want to maybe transfer from the floor to something a little bit softer, like a bed or a sofa or a chair, you are more than welcome. Does anyone want any additional blankets in the studio at all? One okay? Anyone else want one? Good. So very similar to how we started. Just allowing yourself to find a place where you feel at ease. So that might involve just a little bit of shifting or moving, adjusting things, propping yourself, covering yourself. If it's an appropriate thing for you to do, you might want to close your eyes. If you prefer to keep your eyes open, then allow your eyes and your gaze to just fix upon something that isn't moving. Drawing your attention to the sensations of touch and noticing how the floor, the props, the earth that's beneath all of those things is providing you with an opportunity to feel held and to let go of anything that we might have brought into this practice today that we feel ready to let go of. Turning the attention back to the breath and allowing the breath to be free from any expectation. Maybe noting if there's still a slight residual vibration that you can feel from that Brahmari breath that we were doing and the vibration that we was creating within ourselves and for each other. I'm going to offer a very simple rotation of your awareness. So you may just allow yourself to just follow the journey around your breath body, inviting each part of yourself to relax. So we're going to start our journey at the back of our head. Relax in the back of the head. And then move into the top of the head. Then to the forehead. To the face. The jaw. The throat. The neck. To both of your shoulders. Relaxing both your upper arms, the elbow joints, the lower arms, your wrists. Relaxing the palms of the hands and the back of the hand. Relaxing both of your thumbs and all of your fingers. Moving the attention back up to the slopes of your shoulders. Relaxing the area of the front of the breast or chest. Relaxing the under armpit. Relaxing your shoulder blades and your upper back. Relaxing the back of your rib cage, the sides of the rib cage, the front of the rib cage. Relaxing your upper abdomen, the the navel region, your lower abdomen, relaxing both sides of your waist, relaxing your lower back, the tailbone, relaxing the back of your pelvis, both of your hip joints, relaxing the pelvic bowl, relaxing the front of your thighs, the back of your thigh, front of the knee, the back of the knee, relaxing the shin bones, the calf muscles, relaxing your ankle joints, your heels, relaxing the soles of your feet and the tops of your feet, relaxing all of your toes. Inviting the whole of your body to relax, to feel held, to know in this moment there is nothing for you to do. No body to please. There's nothing to strive for. And right in this moment, there's nowhere else you need to be. You're in exactly the right place. Allow yourself to once more be open to all of the possibilities. Allowing whatever needs to arise to arise. Acknowledging the care, the kindness, the love that you've shown to yourself today. I'd invite you to very, very gently just begin to start to allow yourself in that same caring and supportive way slowly start to let yourself just be a little bit more aware of the surroundings. Maybe introducing some movement of some breath, some external awareness, but in that soft, gentle, and loving way. If you have been lying, I would suggest just maybe roll onto one side, just to pause on that side for a moment or two. And then when you feel ready, just gently begin to bring yourself up into a seat. From our seated position, allowing ourselves to sit tall. Taking this time to acknowledge the care and the attention that we've shown to ourselves, the care and the attention that we've shown to each other by sharing this space, both digitally and in the studio. Acknowledging how what we do on our mat can be took out into the rest of our world. And maybe noticing if there's one thing that you'd like to take from today. One reminder, one little piece of wisdom, maybe just a feeling that you may not have had for a while. Wherever that is, know that you can take that with you. To close our practice, as we always do, I'm going to invite you to join me in a repetition of the mantra Om once and Shanti 3 times. Om being the sound of creation, the sound of everything within us, all around us. Shanti, just simply meaning peace. So bringing our palms together, lightly pushing those palms together to connect those sides of ourselves back as one. We'll take a collective breath in together and a collective breath out. And a breath in to chant or listen. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Maybe sending some of those words of peace, not only to ourselves, but out into the world, which can really do with it at this time. Om Shanti. Thank you, everybody, for your time. Really lovely to be here with you all. Take your time, there's no rush. Make sure that you feel prepared to step back into the world. You need that reminder. That reminder of there is nothing that you need to be doing right now. You're welcome.
Thank you, Daniel.
You can just roll them up and put them by their corner. Thank you so
Thank you,
much,
Daniel.
Mary.
I'll see you
Nice to
next
see
week.
you.
Have a good weekend.
Yeah, see you Tuesday. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Daniel.